Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest challenges that new drawers face, and it has to do with the ground. The dirt, the grass, the floor, whatever the surface that's below the subjects in your drawing, there's a certain way that it needs to be drawn for it to look right. Let's start by looking at some bad habits that you may have, and we're going to break them today. The first bad habit is drawing your character and your tree and your house, and each of those subjects on their own, they look fine. The only problem is they are all anchored to the very bottom of the page. The foot, the tree, the house. They have all used the bottom of the page like it's the ground, and the page has been treated like it's a box that all your drawing lives inside of. We do not want to use the bottom of the page as the ground. Now, another habit that is better than the first one, but still could use some improvement, is starting your drawing by drawing the ground. And then placing all of your subjects right on top of that line. Now, at least in this drawing, we do have the ground, and we do have the sky, and we know where the subjects are standing. But the problem is, they're all existing at the very tippy top of the hill. They're all anchored to that line, and we're totally ignoring the space below them. They could be filled up. And if you draw like this, you may even be thinking of the space under that line as below the ground, and maybe tempted to draw roots there or bones there, like everything under that line is underneath the ground. When you draw like this, you're wasting all of the space below the line that could be used to draw other subjects. So we're going to avoid placing all of our subjects on that line. Now let's learn how to use the ground properly. To start, don't even start with your ground. Just worry about your subjects. Draw your characters. Draw your trees. Your house. Although this house is kind of small, so let's make it a dog house. There's Sparky. Now once you have all of your subjects, then you can worry about where the ground is behind them. The key here is to find your furthest back subject, in this case it's the house, and make sure that that horizon line is at least a little bit above and behind your backmost subject. This will create a look like all of your subjects are resting on the ground and coming towards you. Now, whatever's above that line is the sky, so feel free to have things up in the sky like clouds, birds, planes, etc. Looking good. That's how to use a horizon line. Now remember, the horizon line is the line between the ground and the sky. And when you have a horizon line in your drawing and all your subjects below it, it gives you plenty of room for people dancing, fountains, even bananas. For our first challenge, we're going to see if we can place the horizon line in the right position behind 3 trees. As you draw the horizon line, make sure that it is above and behind the base of each tree. It can curve around as it forms the shape of the hill, but the base of each tree must be below the line. And the base of each tree must be up off the bottom of the page and not using the bottom of the page as another ground line. Give it a go. For our next challenge, we're going to apply what we learned about the horizon line to an inside scene. In this example, the horizon line is the line between the wood floor and the gray wall. However, the table and the person have been placed directly on that line, which doesn't look quite right. Now let's see how it looks if we bump all the subjects down so that it looks like they're really resting on the floor. Notice how the table is even shown here with the actual surface of the table and the Coke bottle sitting on the table with the horizon line of the table behind the Coke bottle. Let me flip back and forth between these two images so that you can see the difference between how the horizon line is used in each of them. Now let's see if we can draw an inside scene with a table and a line between the floor and the wall in the correct position. But first, let's look at some common mistakes you may make. Common mistake is to not draw the top of the table at all. Just draw the side of the table and then put the TV right on top of that line. And then to put the table legs right on the line between between the floor and the wall. Now, everything else in this drawing looks okay. It's just the fact that the table legs should not be on that line and the TV should not be on the line of the table. Let's see if we can do a better version. To start, draw yourself a nice large rectangle so that you can show the top of the table that the TV is resting on. That gives you plenty of room to show the front and the top of the gaming console or the DVD player. Then you can put the TV stand on top of that. Then you can put the TV growing up and resting on top of those surfaces. It's really nice to see the TV or whatever's on the table resting on the top of it. Now go ahead and draw your chair legs. And then find the backmost chair leg. Well, first let's get some controllers in. Find the backmost chair leg and move your pencil just a little bit behind that, and then draw the horizon line all the way across the page. Now the fact that those front chair legs come down onto the floor, it really looks like that table is resting on the floor. Now the wall could use a couple touches, a little poster up there. And before Fortnite, there was everybody's favorite game, Pac-Man. Let's put a window on the other side. A couple little curtains. And it's a beautiful day, but there's still no place we'd rather be than inside playing a rousing game of Pac-Man. Give that scene a go, making sure that you show the TV resting on top of the table and the chair legs resting on top of the floor. Now let's use our skills to create a beach scene. Start by drawing the line between the water and the sky on the top third of the page. On the bottom third of the page, draw a curvy line to represent the line between the sand and the water. The middle of your page will become the water, so you can go in and add some waves. There's tons of different ways that you can draw waves. You can do the little kind of W-shaped ones. You can do more detailed, kind of surfable waves. And then in the ocean, but below that line, do not put the boat on the line. Below the line, put a sailboat. And it is okay for the sail to cross the horizon line, but the base of the boat needs to be below that line. In the water, you could put other details like a shark. If you remember the baby shark from yesterday, he's now grown up and he is a full-grown and evil, hungry attack shark. Now on the beach, you can put subjects like a character chillaxing on their towel, soaking in the rays. Hope he put on his sunscreen, looking good. Give him a little beach towel there. You could put in a bird. You could put in people playing volleyball. You could put in some boogie boarders, whatever you like here. Make sure that any subjects that you put on the beach are not resting on the bottom line of the page, though. Make sure they're in the middle of the sand. You could put a sun going down, a couple clouds. You could even put a little island on the horizon line. Now, if something is in the very distance, it's okay for it to be on that line, like a very distant island. You can put some little dots in the sand to make it look like a sandy texture. And there you have it, a beautiful beach scene. Go for it.